Everything you want in life, I believe, is right outside your comfort zone. A lot of folk have stopped dreaming. What I'm asking you to do is to become uncomfortable. Get good at it. Exit strategy. We're talking about leaving where we're comfortable at, walking on water. We're talking about firing our boss. If you're trying to do something you never did, pause. It's gonna hurt. Don't you know when you operating in your gift and you operating in your passion, that it blesses your health? Comfort zone, it's in your mind. The switch within is in your mind, ironically. I'm just here to say, hey, I'm human. I'm hurting, I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm mad, I'm everything, just like you. But you know why a lot of folk really don't leave their comfort zone? The fear of failure. This book is dedicated to someone who may have made a mistake in life, someone who has done something stupid and paid for it, someone like me. I came from a solid home environment, but I made some bad choices. I paid my debt to society and turned things around. Like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, you can rise above your current and past circumstances. I am living proof. I'm writing this book to be your motivator for the day. I'm telling you that you can get out of that comfort zone. If you are hurting, it's a perfect time. If you are angry or upset with your current situation, then it's a perfect time to make a change. Have you ever heard of being at the right place at the right time? This is it. Start dreaming again. Start seeing yourself in that new car, that new home, or that new business. Maybe you just want to start back traveling again. Do it. Let me be the person who just nudges you right on into your destiny. I feel obligated to help. I want to help. It's my way of giving back. Hey, how y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Welcome to Sunday Night Live with author Eric Johnson. And we're going to get started here in just a second. How y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling on this Sunday? What y'all eat out there today? We had Mother's Basket, of course. I had the baked chicken wings, the dressing. Went down through there with the cabbage and the yams. That's what I had today, which is a plug. Hey, Mother's Basket, 208 Northampton. That's in DeSoto. Next Sunday, y'all check us out. We actually open Thursday through Sunday, but on Sunday, we come with the soul food. Y'all put what y'all had to eat today in the comments. And we're going to give everybody just a couple minutes to get chimed in. Excuse me. On last week, we talked about all of a sudden. It was crazy how it happened. And we talked about sudden change. And we realized that that change leads to growth. I discussed understanding debt freedom, time freedom, new homes, new businesses, new schools, whatever you have on your goal list, on your dream list. This thing can happen for you all of a sudden. I'm actually championing that cause for that all of a sudden moment in someone's life. We were joined by builder, developer, Elbert Thomas, and he talked about some of his all of a sudden moments from being one of the youngest, biggest landlords in the southern sector to being the #1 African-American in an energy firm, to now being a developer, builder, and so forth. What's up, Lil Mac? Lil Mac say grill some steaks and ribs. Can you overnight me just a small slab of those ribs, Mac? And we do have a special guest scheduled to join us tonight. This young lady is phenomenal. I cannot wait to bring her up. Just a phenomenal person that I really don't know, but I've watched from afar. And I think that this podcast will benefit from her story. So y'all look forward to that. Let's see, Cedric, chicken Alfredo. Now, was this the homemade Alfredo said, or was this the, they got that little jar Alfredo? Did you have that? Y'all let me know. What are y'all reading out there? Each week I always promote that leaders are readers. This is a classic. Stephen Covey, if you never read it, the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, then this is a read that you definitely want to consider. Practice is the Pathway to Perfection by a dear friend of mine, Greg L. Thomas. And these books are all available on Amazon. Practice is the Pathway to Perfection by Greg Thomas. The Great Investment, started on this week. Let's see. Great Investment, T.D. Jakes. This is an excellent, excellent book so far. And of course, y'all know I'm always reading, forever reading, The Switch Within, which is now available in a paperback. We have the ebook available. We also have the audio book for those of you that really aren't into reading while you're working out, while you're on your way to work in the car. You can download the audio book and be able to support as well. The book has been rocking. A lot of people have been blessed by the book. We've also been able to bless some people with the book free of charge. And I want to leave that standing offer out there. If anyone wants the book, The Switch Within, my book, then send me an email at theswitchwithin@gmail.com. theswitchwithin@gmail.com. And I'll make sure that whatever format that you want it in, if you want the ebook, I can get it to you. If you want a paperback, I'll mail it to you. If you want the audio book, I can give you a link to download that. Brandon Benson, what's up, cousin? Locked in, loaded. Jay Jackson, what you reading? Let's see here. Hold on just a second. Jay Jackson, my kinfolk, he said, I'm reading Power Questions. Power Questions. Mackenzie Benson, reading Getting Things Done by David Allen. Y'all take notes of these books. If you are into reading, if you're not into reading, just start listening to that thing. You know what I realized when you get in the car? I don't know if you listen to the radio, Sirius XM, your phone. My kids almost have a fight over who's going to control the aux or the Bluetooth or whatever. But when you're in the car, if you're not really an avid reader, get into the audiobook world. Go to audible.com, which will allow you to just put that information, put that positive knowledge in your mind as you travel, whether that be to work, to school, picking the kids up from school, whatever. Just tell everybody, hey, sit down, y'all be quiet, because mama's listening, or, daddy's listening. Let's see. Burr Investing by David Green. So we got Burr Investing by David Green, Getting Things Done by David Allen, Power Questions. That's a book. The Great Investment, T.D. Jakes. Practice is the Pathway to Perfection by Greg L. Thomas. And of course, the classic 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Okay, we're going to get started just for the sake of time. I really appreciate everyone joining in. It means that you have something on your mind that's leaning you toward greatness. And you may already be successful, but you may have a desire, a burning desire to become more successful. And I know I'm talking to a wide range of people. So tonight, the people that may not fit in the class of what they would call successful, we're going to talk about no limits and no ceilings. No limits, no ceilings. That particular chapter in the book, which is actually chapter 7, I wanted the reader to just dream bigger, like crazy dreams. Like when you tell people about them, it sounds crazy to them. Almost sounds crazy to you, because you have that faith and that belief so strong. I'm personally telling you that we believe that it's going to happen. I think I'm talking to somebody out there that's got some crazy dreams that they're looking to make happen. The sky isn't far enough. We want to leave the stratosphere with these dreams. I believe NASA said that in order to break the Earth's orbit, you have to travel 25,000 miles an hour, y'all. And that's the type of thinking. Man never thought they could leave the Earth, but somebody thought it. It all started right here in your mind. So we want to not put a limitation, not put a ceiling on our dreams. When we have our goal list, when we have our purpose list, if you will, the things that we're designed to do by nature. I was talking to a buddy of mine. Hey, man, what's your passion? What's your goal? He said, driving trucks. Driving trucks isn't your passion. No disrespect to all the truck. I got family members that's truck. I own a truck, but that's not your passion. We want to have a list filled with things like spending more time with my kids, taking mom to the doctor. Hadn't been doing it, so I'm gonna start doing it. Traveling, going to Hawaii, whatever. We want to have some goals that are tied to the strings of our heart. And that kind of leads me to a story, y'all. Back in 2012, I took a trip to China with a friend of mine. And I mean, we stayed 12 days. This was in 2012. And when I got to China, while we were there, we were actually there, trying to start a import-export business. We looked at furniture, we looked at all this different stuff, but we were also looking at flights to other countries that seemed so much closer in China. When I got to China, I could see Africa, just maybe a 3-4 hour flight. I could see Australia, it might have been a 2-3 hour flight, but I couldn't see that from back here in Dallas. I couldn't see that from Oak Cliff, if you will. I'm just teasing y'all, but listen, when you go further, then you can see further. If you make $1 million, then you can see 10 million. If you make $10 million, let's go back. If you can see $1,000 saved under your mattress, then you can see 2 and eventually 5. And then eventually you need to put it in the bank, okay? But I'm just saying, when you go further, then you can definitely see further. People that are high performing, or what are considered high performing, sometimes their list, and I want you to have this same type of list, it doesn't have limitations of education or money or contacts. When you make that list, y'all, I want it to be a crazy list. I want it to have crazy ideas, crazy goals, where when you look back at it, it was almost like last week when I said it was crazy how it happened. No limits and no ceilings means that we're not going to be in a box. Whoa. We're not going to live our life with boundaries. The people that are on this live chiming in on a Sunday of all nights, I know the game is it was tight a while ago between the Rams and the Niners, but somebody here, like I said last week, and I'm gonna say it every week, they're right on the edge of greatness, right on the edge. But the people that are already successful in their mind, I want them to think bigger, big dreams, not in a box, not bound to this certain restriction. I want it to be crazy. First thing first, you have to get control of you and your mind. If you want to have a life that has no limitations, no ceilings, wouldn't it be true to say that you have to start putting in some things in your mind to change your current thinking? Currently, you may feel that you're successful, you're comfortable, and that's just your life right now. I'm challenging you to step out of that comfort zone because, like I said in chapter 7, no limitations, no ceilings. Everything you want in life, I believe, is right outside your comfort zone. In the book, I also talked about hysterical strength. And let's just be real, y'all. If you put your mind to something, it's almost impossible to stop you. Let me say that again. If you put your mind on something, it's almost impossible to stop yourself. If you put the belief system behind it, that's what I'm talking about with your mind, because the inner thoughts produce the outward results. Hysterical strength. There was a woman whose father became trapped under a BMW. And do y'all know she lifted the BMW up just long enough for her father to be rescued? Another story says there was a guy that his small dog got into the jaws of an alligator. An alligator. And he was able to grab the alligator's jaws, pry it loose just long enough for the dog to escape. Hysterical strength, the reason that I put that in that particular chapter was to say, if you're going to live life with no limits and no ceilings, then you don't know what you can do if you put your mind to it. Those people, you think that lady thought she could lift a BMW that I know weighs at least a half a ton? When she put it in her mind, when it was a life and death situation, she made it happen. A buddy of mine always says, let the ring be your teacher. You know, Mike Tyson once said that everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. Well, these dreams, these plans, these goals that we're achieving or striving to achieve, we want them to be crazy, but we're going to let the ring teach us along the way. And we'll learn how to get hit in the face, if you will. Not literally, but metaphorically. If you really have the desire to do something, y'all, put this in your notes. Write it down. It just starts with literally writing it down. A cousin of mine, she put a testimony on her page. It's called Open Spaces this week about my wife and I. I didn't know she was going to do it, but it blew me away how she saw us. And of course, we can't see it because it's on the inside, but someone on the outside looking in saw that, hey, Eric and Jackie, they live a life pretty much with no ceilings. I don't believe that there's anything we can't do if we put our mind to it. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, y'all. Not to be long-winded, but just to give you the glimpse that once you put your mind on something and you write it down, like my cousin said in her testimonial, we had vision boards everywhere a few years ago. Vision boards everywhere. And you know, I'm going to be honest, it was my wife's idea. She said, babe, I was watching Oprah and everybody was talking about the new year and doing these vision boards. Do y'all know a lot of that stuff that was on the vision board happened in our life? So now I'm a propagator of vision boards. I'm a propagator of just write it down. Write it down. Make it near and dear to your heart. Put it in your wallet. Put it in your purse. Make it your own. Because when you want to walk on water, like I always say, you have to be focused. The reason that Peter starts sinking is because he took his eyes off the prize. When you have your goals in front of you and they're clearly written down, it's hard to stray off path. It's hard to lose focus because it's clear, it's concise, and it came from your heart. Whatever's on your goal list, it doesn't need to be what's on your neighbor's list or what's on your friend girl's list or your brother's list. It doesn't matter. It needs to be your list from your heart. because that is going to allow you to live a life with no limitations and no ceilings. Before I bring up my next guest, Sarah Boone in 1892 was the first Black woman in U.S. history to receive a patent. She got the patent, y'all, on the ironing board. It had been a patent in 1858. Somebody had it, and it was just a big, flat block of wood. But Sarah Boone got a patent, and when I tell you she invented the ironing board that we're all familiar with today, narrow, sleek, the additions that she brought to the patent would stand until today. We're talking about no limits, no ceilings. Long before the Ring doorbell and home security systems, Mary Van Britten Brown invented a system. She stayed at home a lot in New York, and she invented a home security system with a monitor, with speakers, with a microphone. A long time ago, y'all, with a camera as well. This was way before Ring. The carbon light filament, invented by Lewis Latimer in 1881. No limits. Automatic elevator doors. Now, these are all Black inventors, if you will. Automatic elevator doors, invented by Alexander Miles in 1887. Refrigerated trucks, invented by Frederick McKinley Jones in 1940. And what I liked about Mr. Jones's story is that he submitted over 60 patents before he received that patent that would change the trucking industry. Because before that, they didn't have refrigerated trucks. I do believe that he co-patented that particular technology, but just to say that's somebody that thought way beyond having a box around them. Or I hate people to put me in a box. Jackie, hey baby, how you doing? Cammy, what's up, kinfolk? Nikki, Blanco, I see you, son. Will Murphy, what's up, cousin? My next guest, I'm excited about my next guest, y'all. She was in the real estate, she's been in the real estate business for over 17 years. She is a licensed realtor here in Texas. She became a builder in 2018, and she has been rocking. That's what made me reach out to her and want to invite her on, is because when I see her story, she's doing the same thing I'm doing. But I wanted the ladies and the viewers that are female to see someone that's rocking, y'all. And without further ado, you know I don't have my sound effects, but Miss Shonta Odom. How you doing, Shonta?
Hey, Eric. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I appreciate reaching out. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. What did you eat today, Shonta, if you don't mind me asking?
I grilled steaks today. So somebody else I heard grilled some steaks, but we had steaks, baked potatoes, broccoli and cheese, corn on the cob, and shrimp.
Oh, wow. Do y'all have any left?
Yeah, we got a little bit.
I'm just teasing.
I'll send a plate over there.
Right. Shonta, for those that don't know you or may not know you, tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name is Shonta Odom, guys. I'm originally born and raised in Los Angeles. I have been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area 21 years, 22 years. I permanently decided that I wanted to stay in Dallas in 2004. I originally got here in 99, moved back and forth. What brought me here is actually my ex-husband. He was in the music business in Los Angeles, and an incident occurred with his brother that he was injured and shot and brought him here. And I decided to come along. And the one thing I sort of had in mind about Texas, in my mind, coming from Los Angeles, was it's nothing but cowboys and cows, right? Because that's all I ever saw in Dallas. That's all I thought Dallas was. And then when I got here, I realized, oh, it's just a normal city. I was 19 at the time, so that was quite a while ago. And my mind was just that small, even though I know I had visited other places, but all I could think about was cowboys and cows and JR, right?
Wow. Okay.
So when I
So
came here,
yeah.
it was like, it was totally different from Los Angeles. Los Angeles is, of course, everybody always hears about the blue skies and the palm trees and the ocean. And, but the one thing that they don't ever talk about is too much is, well, maybe now they do, is the price of, the cost of living and how much it is just to live there in general. And Dallas was night and day.
Okay. And so what led you to jump into the real estate sector?
So in Los Angeles, I was initially in the film business. And as I said, I was going back and forth. I felt like when I moved here, I left everything I wanted to do. And all I ever knew was to be behind the scenes and be in the entertainment industry. And then I realized at one point I had moved back to Los Angeles and was working on some films. And I had 2 children at that point, and my daughter was about 2. And I was on set for like 14, 15, 16-hour days. And by the time I would get home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then have to be right back on set like 9, 10 o'clock, I was just missing her and my son grow up. So I realized, I said, you know what? I know this is what I want to do. And this was number 1 in my book, but I think I'm gonna go with number 2, and that was real estate. And
Right.
I picked real estate. As a kid, it was 3 things I wanted to do. It was the entertainment industry, because I knew that people always wanted to be entertained, and there was television. It was law, because I knew things would always have to be litigated. And the third thing was real estate, because I knew that everything would have to be bought and sold or leased, and it's a business that's never going anywhere.
Right.
So I came here and I said, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna do real estate. So in 2003, I think I started working on getting my license. Took me maybe 3 or 4 months. And the first day I became an agent, I signed my first contract.
Wow.
Lucky
First day.
me.
Right. A rookie's luck, right?
Yes. And I've been hooked ever since.
Okay. Wow, that is amazing. And so now, fast forward 2018, you were
Yeah.
rocking as a realtor. What made you get into the building side of things?
Well, sometimes you have a team of people that are around you. And I've always been around real estate as far as rehabs. I did rehabs and did my own flips. And of course, I started there. So you sort of know the ins and outs of it. And then an opportunity came about, and, the city of Dallas had their land bank program where people were able to take advantage of that program. And I had an investor who purchased 20 lots from the program. And I knew, like I said, I had experience in the rehab side, not
Okay.
necessarily the building side.
Okay.
So I just sort of jumped in. I took a meeting with a friend of mine that's a builder, and I just took notes, right? I just listened
Okay.
to everything that he said, and I just wrote detailed notes. I got a little book right here. You got to have a book, guys. You have to.
Absolutely.
And he talked, and I just listened. And I wrote down every phone number and every contact and everything that he said. And when I got to a point where I felt I didn't really understand what they were talking about, I would just call him. I would be like, hey, I don't really know what they're talking about. Can you come here? And he would be like, yeah, this is what they're saying. So like I said, I had the basics of knowing electrical and HVAC and plumbing and roofing and, all of that. But what made, I think, building a little more difficult was knowing timelines and permitting and green tags and, making
Right.
sure, from the time that you have to, let's just say from ground up, making sure when to call for the inspection after the foundation is started or after you've got your form board survey or any of those things. So
Right.
that was all a learning process. But again, what did I do? I took notes as I went along. I literally wrote down every single step. So I knew this is the first time, and I might bump my head this time, and I might bump my head the second time,
Right.
But after the second time, I think I got it. And I did.
Yeah, you did. And one thing I've admired about watching you is that you've actually scaled up to where I see you doing multiple properties at,
Yes.
one time. So how do you juggle um, more than one property at one time?
Well, it's all about teamwork. You can't do everything by yourself. So you definitely have to have a team. And I had to learn that I can't do it all by myself. You'll get burnt out. And
Absolutely.
honestly, this last year I was completely burnt out. I did probably, I think I was building seven properties at one time.
Wow.
And typically all of my properties are normally under contract before we even break ground. I normally have
Right.
something to be able to show them, hey, this is going to be at this particular lot, and they go check out something that we already have, under construction, and then it normally goes under contract. And it was stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
But you know what?
imagine.
You got to reach out to the team. Now I do a lot of the work myself, as far as like picking materials and finding the best deal. I don't go to Home Depot. I might go to the Mexican Home Depot,
Right.
or I might have to go get my tile or, my backsplash. I don't go to Floor and Decor.
Right.
I
Right.
might have to go on Craigslist and see somebody that's off Walnut Hill in the
Right.
back in the trailer,
Right.
but honestly, I just wanted to give someone something that I would like. And I wanted to give them something that just wasn't like what we see in traditional building. Like a normal builder, built bigger builders, there's no customization to it.
Right.
It's just
Right.
generic. This is what you're
Yeah.
going to get.
Absolutely. And so, kind of piggybacking on what you said, and one thing that I really want to highlight is the fact that you're a female in a male dominated industry. I was doing some research this past week, and it said that one one out of every 100 builders in the United States is a female. How have you learned to maneuver so well being a female in a male dominated industry?
I'm going to be honest with you, Eric. At the end of the day, when that check clears and you don't have no problem giving those people their money,
There you
it makes
go.
it a little bit easier, right?
Right.
So, I've heard different stories of, how other builders, treat them. And I just try to treat everyone with respect, and I let them know from the beginning, I may be a woman, but, sometimes, and my hair may be blonde,
Right.
but I'm not a
Right.
dumb blonde,
Come
so
on now.
I know what you're talking about. So, I try to, like I said, build a crew and have a team. And I have a select few contractors that I try to give most of my business to because they take good care of me. I know I've reached out to you and when I needed to,
Absolutely.
sometimes they fall off here and there, but I've learned that, hey, you just got to be strong, and it is what it is, because I got to be happy with this. I can't accept what you want to give me if I'm not happy with that. And I have no problem with communicating that.
Right.
At the end of the day, like I said, on Friday, when you submit that invoice, you're going to want to check. And if
There you
it's
go.
not how I like it, then we're going to have a problem cutting that check.
Right. Right. Male or female.
I don't care who it is,
There you go.
And I mean, honestly, how they say, when you hold the power is when you hold the money, So I have
Right.
to remember, you hold the power, I'm
Absolutely.
creating jobs for people. I'm happy that we're all able to eat. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that I'm able to eat, and it's a blessing that I'm able to help someone else feed their family.
Right, right. And you have a lot of black and brown contractors as well. So,
Absolutely.
creating those jobs, I definitely applaud you for that. And, that's something that does make a difference, whether
Absolutely.
we know it or not.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. I wrote a book called The Switch Within, of course.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you just straight up, what keeps your switch on? Like, what keeps you motivated every day?
It has to be my children. I have 4. I'm a single mom. And, for me, I know where I came from, coming from Los Angeles. My mother went to prison when I was 12 years old. She was gone for 7.5 years of my life. She's been battling with addiction. My dad did as well. And I know what happened when I turned 12 and that happened to me, right? I was in foster home. I was with family. It got to a point where I was 16, where I was an emancipated minor, and I was on my own,
Oh,
so I knew the struggles that I went through, and I don't want my kids to have to experience anything I did. I can remember sleeping in a car, with my son when he was an infant, I mean, just being pillow to post. And I made that was the switch for me to say, you know what, they don't ever have to experience that, because I'm gonna bust my butt to do whatever I have to do to make sure that they're okay and that they can have the best life possible.
Wow. Wow. Um, I mean, that is deep. That's a good reason why we all have to establish a strong why. To anybody out there, looking at this particular podcast, establish your why. Her children is the reason why her switch within stays engaged. Shantae, if someone were in front of you and you felt that they were right on the edge of greatness, what advice would you give them?
Keep going. You know, it's all about dedication, hard work, patience. Just keep going. Don't give up, right? You can't. It's been plenty of days that when I got into real estate and I first took my real estate class, it was so many, how am I going to do it, right? I
Right,
had
right.
2 kids. I was divorced. My son was playing football, right? I didn't really have the income, and I didn't really want to go to like a 9 to 5 school and then have to pay them. I don't know. Back then, Champion Real Estate might have been $2,500 or $3,500 that I had to pay, but I was a single parent and I didn't know how I was going to come up with it, right?
Wow.
So I just researched, and I remember I ended up finding a fast track class at North Lake College that was every other weekend. And that did it. Like I made it happen. I couldn't think about what I shoulda, coulda, woulda did. I just did it. And I think a lot of times that's what happens, is that people can come up with so many reasons of why they can't do it, or they can make an issue like, man, I just, I it's something, or I don't
Right,
have the
right, right.
time, or I don't
Some
have this.
excuse.
Yeah, it's always an excuse. The
Right,
one thing
right.
my uncle, may he rest in peace, he told me when I was a kid, you can be anything you want to be. The only person stopping you is you. And
Mm,
that's the same thing I've always told my kids. You could be anything you want to be. The only person stopping you is you. And that goes to whoever that person is. If you are
right.
out there and you don't feel like you can do it, you can. I'm telling you, you can. Look at me. I
Come
mean,
on
if
now.
you could have experienced some of the things I experienced growing up, you would be like, wow, I can't believe that. Like she went through that. I hear so many people and people from my childhood to look at me now, and they all are like, wow, I know what you went through. I know you were here and you were there, and your mother left you at a vulnerable stage. And, my dad at that point was addicted to drugs. And, I mean, I went through all of those circumstances. And today I stand up as a woman
Come
who
on
had
now.
no experience other than doing, real estate and selling transactions and doing rehabs, and then just decided with, an investor, like, we're going to build today. Okay, we're going to build today.
Right. I bought 20 of them.
Yeah. What do we have to do?
Right,
And we
right.
just did it. And you make those phone calls and you come up with the money and you make it happen.
And you know what, Shantae, that light that you possess when you've gone through something, people can recognize it. People can see. It's just something about a Shantae. It's just something about a Eric or an Elbert, like we had on last week, that it's something in them that you can see that the fruit didn't come without some strong roots, if you
Absolutely.
will. Like times when you were sleeping in your car, and times when I was sleeping in my car. And people see successful businesses now, but they don't know the 1 million businesses that I started that failed.
Right.
You follow me?
Right.
Now, as successful as you are, Shantae,
Hmm.
what would you consider to be a current comfort zone? I know that's kind of a weird question, but I just want you to be transparent and let the viewers see that even though I'm successful, this is something that I'm still working on.
You know, um, I, I I think I'm just beginning in real estate as far as building. There's so many things that I see. Like, I get inspired when I drive downtown and there's so much construction going on downtown, and there's high rise apartment buildings. And,
Right,
you
right.
know, I, I would love to do that. I would love to develop land,
Right,
to buy a 10 or a 20 acre tract land and develop it and, sell it to builders that want to do that.
right.
So I'm close. I mean, I'm comfortable in, hey, I know I got this down packed, but you know what? I'm not afraid to step out and try something new, and
Okay.
I got to get my feet wet, and it's going to be hard. And, it's going to be some obstacles. I'm expecting it, but I'm willing to take them all.
Right, right. There's a guy that I know right now, and the reason that I like this brother is because he did something that he's never done,
Hmm.
and he developed, I want to say like 40 to 50 1 acre lots.
Mm,
Never did it before. Kind of like what you're saying. It's it's your comfort zone right now is that I'm successful where I am, but I want to go further and I want to
absolutely.
become more successful. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, that is definitely big. Um, I think you kind of talked about your defining moment. I believe that was big. Shantae, for all the women out there that are watching, that they may not want to be a builder per se, but anybody that's looking to, like my daughter, for instance, I hope she's watching. She's looking to get her license as a realtor. Is there any advice or wisdom you could give someone looking to maybe get into the real estate field as a realtor?
The key thing about real estate is that, there's a lot of us, right? And everybody wants to be a real estate right now because real estate is amazing,
Right, right,
on,
right,
on
right,
every aspects. But you gotta have build your own brand. For me, Shonta Odom is the brand, right? In
right,
any company that you go to, and no fault to any big company, whether it be Remax or Keller Williams or whoever you choose to go with, but they own that. You don't,
come on now.
right?
Right, right,
So I realized that years ago when I was with Remax, and when I left the company, they kept the email, right? And all the emails were still going to them. And I
right,
missed all those emails. And that was like the turning point for me. So for anybody new, stick with it. The first 2 years are going to be the hardest years because you're out there trying to develop your business. But the key is you're the brand. Sell you. The client comes back to you. They don't come back to Keller Williams or Remax or EXP. They don't come back to that. They come back to you. You're what's important. So when you start to develop and make these relationships with people, make them feel like they're family, make them feel like they're friends, so that they feel comfortable. I have clients right now that still call me till this day, and I don't deal too much on buying anymore. I'm more on the selling because I'm dealing on the building side, but I still take my clients, of course, they're family.
come on
Right?
now.
I
Right,
made them feel
right,
comfortable enough to know, and they send me those referrals. I had a call the other day like, "Hey, we're going to be moving, and it's just a rental. You still going to be able to help me?" Absolutely. I got you.
right,
Because guess what? That rental
right.
is going to eventually turn into a sale one day.
Yeah, one thing I noticed when I was selling cars, that people don't buy the product, they buy you. So
Right.
that is a great point. And then after a while, you start realizing that the pipeline is going to naturally fill,
Absolutely.
and you're going to go from hardly not having any business to booming, and almost
Absolutely.
having to turn down business because you're so busy. You follow me?
I do. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of solicitation calls from brokers that see me performing, and they constantly want me to come. All the big names they call, and I'll be like, thanks, but no thanks. I like having my money in my pocket. I don't want to give my money and give I don't want to give them
Right.
that kind of cut. I'm not working and then you taking 20 or 30% or whatever those brokers take. No, I
Right,
want all of mine. I want all of my work.
right, right.
Now
Wow.
don't get me wrong. Sometimes when you get to those learning, someone just coming into the real estate business, you may need that education. I've been in the business, it's going on 18 years. So I've pretty much experienced it all, right? So maybe for a new person, they may need that experience. They may need someone that is hands-on. And a lot of smaller brokerages, they don't offer that, but if there is somewhere that you can get free education, hey, get as much education that you can, right?
Right,
Knowledge is
right.
power. So get whatever you can take out of it and then brand yourself, right? Because like I said,
Mm,
you're it. That's who they want. They want you.
right. What would you say is probably one of the biggest challenges in being a realtor?
Right now, inventory. I think
Okay.
there's just not enough, when I was dealing with buyers, it was, everything is like a multiple offer situation. Even now, I mean, you probably know yourself, how hard is it for us to find land? And
Very.
we're going further out and out and out trying to find land. And then it's still even, a situation where it's a multiple offer situation. I've had a point where, some of my investors are like, hey, you're going to build it, but I got to use this agent to get it because, I mean,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. As a realtor, if you're a listing agent and if you have someone that comes to the table and they don't have representation, that listing agent's brokerage is now going to get 6% of the commission if that's what the listing is, right?
Absolutely.
So as a listing broker, they're probably more inclined to go with someone that's going to bring more money to their brokerage than to go with another agent that they have to split a commission with. I mean, I hate to be like that, but this is real life, right? So sometimes I can't eat all the time. I can't eat on every deal, because I may not get that deal. But I think that's the hardest thing right now for us. It's just that there are a lot of people that want to be real estate agents. Another hard thing is that a lot of people don't communicate. A lot of people don't pick up the phone. They don't respond. I know when I made phone calls to try to find out about a property, it's hard as heck to talk to somebody on the phone.
What? That's crazy.
I'm pretty easy. Just call me, right? I'd rather you call me than text me. Like I'm like, hey, we can just say what we have to say. Because sometimes tone of a text, maybe people don't understand, or you could be asking a question and I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So I'm going to call you first. Like, hey, what's going on with this? Is this happening? Let me know. And then I can communicate it to my client, and it's not much. And I understand everybody has, busy lives, but hey, what happened to just picking up the phone sometimes?
Being a builder, I've never been a realtor, but being a builder, it's almost to the point now where the realtor, they just send the lockbox code. The people go see the house. Next thing you know, they email them a contract versus just a few years ago, you had to really be a go-getter. You had to really have a personal touch to sell houses or, work as a realtor. But now I'm looking at land all the time, kind of like you said. And I was telling a buddy of mine, Greg, I said, hey, listen, these realtors, they won't even call you back, let alone text you either. And I think it's because, of the way the market is. But that's something that's definitely changed, with the times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's hard, it does make it hard for us. I think the hardest thing, and I'm a pretty laid back builder, right? I get it. I'm a real estate agent. And if the house is vacant, I don't really have a problem more say if someone went to, look at the property, if they secure it. But nowadays you just don't know, I'm sure I've experienced theft, right? Most of the properties that we build are in the Oak Cliff area. I had brand new appliances and, the 3 microwaves came up, the 3 dishwashers came up missing. The only thing they didn't get was the stove. Thank God, but you just don't know sometimes, right? You don't, you don't. And I think that's the hardest thing about being an agent is that, sometimes some people just let their trust and give people lockboxes and codes and just, like you said, they just, hey, here's the lockbox, go check the property out and here's a contract, but there is no personal touch to it. And I try to keep that. I definitely do. Even on the building side, I'm at the property every day, like if the inspection is at 8, after I drop the kids off at 8:30, by 9, I'm there. If something's not there, a couple of times a day, going around checking things, I'm there. I'm there with the buyer. I'm there with the buyer's agent. I'm trying to be as hands-on as I possibly can, so we can, hey, get to closing, because that's
right. Get to closing, right? and I mean get to closing fast. Right. Well, Shonta, I just wanted to salute you again.
Thank you
for doing some phenomenal things here in the city. And, this live today was just about not having any limits, not having any ceilings. And you're definitely someone that embodies that particular concept, and
well,
I just
thank
want
you.
to salute you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I definitely want to just salute you. Is it anything else? that you like to add?
No, I just, I appreciate you seeing my hard work, and I got several other projects coming up. If anybody's looking to buy in Dallas,
There you
if
go.
if it's not in Eric's price range, it might be my price range.
Right,
I'm just waiting on permits. That's the hardest thing, that we're waiting on right now. But I'm trying to
right.
branch out. So, I'm just blessed and happy to be here, happy to see another year. COVID is, just taking so many people, and so many people are sick, and, everyone just protect themselves, and, you know, just be happy that you woke up and being blessed to see today because someone else didn't. And that's the most important thing.
Wow. Wow. Shonta, thank you so much for taking
You're
time
welcome.
out on a Sunday to, jump on the podcast and I mean, drop some jewels to the viewers. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, everybody. We definitely want to thank God for Shonta coming on tonight, dropping some jewels. And, I wanted to give you guys a female perspective on stepping out of your comfort zone, training your mind to do things that you've never done, developing goals. And one thing that she said that, really stuck with me is that, yeah, she's the builder, but she's there every day. Sometimes you do have to micromanage your blessing. A lot of times, like I said, people want microwave success, but this really is a crock pot business. If anybody has any questions, please comment them right now. I'm going to post a link for anyone that may want to actually join the live. You go to StreamYard.com / and put in those letters and numbers, and it'll bring you up backstage. And like I said, if you have any questions, please put those in the comments. And let me put that link back up one more time. StreamYard.com /AZF 7KJUWEU. Y'all make sure y'all like and share the live. Shonta, you did an amazing job. And y'all, I don't know Shonta. She's actually she used to be a neighbor of my cousin Aisha, and I just always heard good things about her. Some kind of way we became Facebook friends. And you know what? When I look at her live every day, or not her live, but her story, she's building houses. She's making moves. And I just want to salute her. And I hope it inspires and encourages the ladies out there. That was the whole purpose of this, to encourage you to maybe do something that you've never done, like consider being a realtor, get your feet wet, learn the business. Real estate is booming right now. Or you may want to consider becoming a builder as well, maybe a developer. Paul, 90, how y'all feeling tonight? I know y'all ate good. Once again, if you have a question, comment your question. I'll make sure I get it answered. And if you'd like to come up, then I'm going to put the link in the chat. Once again. Jay Brown, what's up, cuz? I see you out there doing big things, you and your wife. I showed one of them fish baskets yesterday, Jay. Will Murphy, what up? Greg Thomas said, great show. Excellent choice of guests. Learned a lot. Appreciate that, Greg. Cedric Looney says, Shonta dropped some knowledge from a woman's perspective. And that was big, y'all. This is, like I said, it's a male-dominated industry. And 1 out of every 100 builders, out of every 100 builders is a female. And I had brought on a couple builders for the last few weeks that were men. Not by design. It's just people that I asked to come on. And then, God told me to ask Shonta, and I just appreciate her taking that particular inquiry and coming on and dropping some jewels. Okay, y'all. Without further ado, if there's nothing else, no limits, no ceilings. We talked about a lot tonight, and I hope that you learned basically what I said was just don't be in a box. Don't have any boundaries on your dreams. I want you to think crazy. I want you to think crazy faith too, because you can write them down, but I want you to believe that they can actually happen. Just like the sister that got the first patent for the ironing board, just like the brother with the filament for the, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, but this brother invented some technology that took it to the next level. Think outside the box. Think outside the box. Until next Sunday, much love. Sunday Night Live with author Eric Johnson. And we'll see you guys.